Hey y'all, another installment of the Dave UI Show. Welcome. Last couple have been a bit strange. I get it. And this one's going to be a bit strange too. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's just where I'm at, what I've been doing. This one is odd. It just came out of nowhere. Showed up on the TV. And it falls in line with differing views, differing sides, differing opinions. There's a movie that we get Showtime, I think. So we get channels, we get cable channels based on living here for free. Not for free, I pay it my monthly HOA fee. And so Stars is one of them. I don't pay for HBO and all that. I don't even have HBO. That's why I don't watch Game of Thrones and the rest of this crap. Westworld. But Stars is on, and I think I was watching, it was called Stranger Fruit. And I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch MMA fights. I'll watch Vin Diesel and Riddick, any Riddick, probably 300 times. I've seen all of them. And it's become obsessively painful here in the house because I'll watch Pitch Black, I'll watch Chronicles of Riddick, I'll watch, whatever. But there was a film on last night. Last night was a weird night. Tracy and I had stuff to do. Trevor had pictures today for football, and I was combing through, and it was called Stranger Fruit. And it's South by Southwest, the film festival. This one premiered there. It's by a director. His name is Jason Pollock, Pollock. He studied under Michael Moore. I watched Bowling for Columbine. I thought it was a great film. I remember that film. Michael Moore was he was very poignant. He was thoughtful. He didn't make stuff up. He let the story tell itself. He put it together properly. He didn't have conspiracy. He didn't leave gap. When he did, he asked you to consider it. This guy studied under Michael Moore, Jason Pollock. This one's about Ferguson and the kid that got shot there. Mike whatever. And I can't remember his name right now for some stupid reason. But this guy visits the site. This guy made a documentary. This guy talks about the scene. He talks about the family. He talks about the impact. He talks about the police force. He talks about St. Louis. He talks about the pseudo-segregation. He talks about the way that it's broken up into these suburban townships or counties or areas and how it's structured. He talks about racism. He talks about Black Lives Matter. He interviews relevant individuals. He's got information that shows you what really went down. It's well documented. It's relatively easy to watch and understand. There's not a lot of complex jargon. There's not a lot of stuff that you have to really think on to go, wait, what? You don't have to rewind anything? This guy's a pretty good cinematographer and a really good storyteller. And he puts it all together. It's called Stranger Fruit. And it tells the story of that young man who was killed by a police officer that started the entire newer movement regarding blacks' justice and rights. And then he's got add-ons that, I guess this was done in 2017 or 2018. There's additions at the end of the film that even further augment things that I've seen on the internet. And some of them are absurd. You're going to watch it because it's police brutality, and then it's police engagement with an animal, and then, and he wants to make a point. But I'll tell you what it doesn't do. It doesn't have the Fahrenheit whatever that Michael Moore did. Michael Moore moved to fanaticism. He moved to fantastic absurdity to tell his stories. And then it became, because of what he was, the popularity, the money, Unfortunately, this machine makes you tell bigger and bigger stories. Bigger and bigger. Or it doesn't get the draw. You don't get the notoriety. You don't get the attention. You don't have the gift. You don't have the edge. And for some fucking reason, that's human. We always want larger and larger spectacle. And he fell prey to that. And he's an obese, big-mouthed, rebel-rousing idiot now, instead of a thought-provoking, fighting the fight battle, real dude. You know what I mean? When the money comes and the notoriety comes and you're important, it's almost impossible to tell the stories that you told, because already you're affected. You have a spin, you have an angle, you have something that you want to, and that's normal progression for human and for growth. Very few people maintain whatever created them. And I was flipping through the channels before the Stranger Fruit came on. It had The Clash, and it showed how The Clash, as an angry, addictive, starving, broken, like just angst band, teenagers in the UK with their drummer playing fast beats, performing that anger, that fresh, that rawness, and then they turned into just like, everybody, like anything. Look at it. Like U2. They come over to Louisiana and start singing blues. You're like, or gospel. What happened to you guys, all right? Or Metallica, who goes mainstream. Yeah, speed metal, and then they're singing, acoustic songs. What happened to you guys? This thing falls outside of those lines, and I don't know how long this guy's been doing it, and I don't know if this notoriety will change him, Jason Pollock. But the story is riveting. The story's factual. The story's thoughtful. It's simple. He tells it relatively clear. And the information that's provided, this guy allows the story. Seemingly, this is a really intelligent guy. He just puts it together so the story tells itself. Michael Brown, and it shows the travesty that occurred. And it shows the travesties that occur. And unfortunately, this isn't black. This is impoverished. This is poor. This is misrepresented. Blacks have a big piece of that. There's 30 plus million of them in this country. But this happens in Mexican, Hispanic, Latino. California probably happens all the time. And what the difference, I think, is the Hispanics, for the most part, aren't, and this is a generality, they don't fight back, right? This kid fought back and he was killed. And this officer, and the information around these officers, and the information around these officers' supervisors, and the information around the supervisors' senior management, the police chiefs, the area in general, up to the governor, it's bad shit. And I don't think, and then I'm going to say this once, the way the media spins, twists, uses, drives, thrives off of this shit, this shows the wickedness of the fucking media that I just brought up in the last video on Bernie Sanders. They are self-absorbed, they're manipulating, they're self-interested, they're a private enterprise to drive business and money, and they're massive. They affect all, and they spew rhetoric. They've lost the ability for fact. They've lost the ability for thoughtfulness. It's turned into snippets. It's played over and over again. It has to drive ratings. It has to make these news stars. It's busted. Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, Hannity, all CNN, all these news stations. The media itself, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Times. The Wall Street Journal is the one newspaper that in some insane way maintained a border of what they were. They just present stories. We don't impart our personal, our corporate view on it. We've maintained the box that we work within. It doesn't seem like the New York Times, the fucking Chicago Tribune, the Boston Globe, whatever, any of those that still survive, because they're all done which is wonderful, and these news stations that are imploding because of all the scandals behind the scenes, the corruption in senior management, the billions and billions of dollars, these mega companies that they're forming with entertainment, the perversions and sexuality where it's tied to Hollywood because now there's collusion around all of them. Media in general. We'll make movies, we'll make news, we'll run television, monopolies, and now it's finally coming to light. Eisner and the rest of these scumbags, they're just the same as senior owners, bankers, like in the NFL, like in private industry, like in politics. These people of power who are perverse, they're skewed with self-interest. They don't give a crap about us. It's all about them. And that's a natural cycle, and we've allowed it. We the people have allowed that. And now those people manipulate law. They manipulate process. They control all the structures in place. The things that we need, our healthcare, our education, our banking, our transportation, our commercialism, the retail industry, our entertainment, what we view, our information. They control it all. And we're supposed to ask them to do it with justice, with equality, with ethics, with morals. That shit's gone. There's one thing that they're interested in: the almighty profits and the almighty power. Two things. So I watched this Stranger Fruit, and it was awesome. And that poor kid got killed. They hid information. They didn't follow protocol. They broke every rule. There was no police report. Everything you watch about it, you're like, yeah, that's a major problem. And then it just compounded. The lies, the corruption, the hiding, the misinformation, the ignorance, the breakdown in skills, the lack of enforcement, the real failure grew and grew and grew. And that can't continue. It can't continue in civil service. It can't continue in government. It won't continue in private business, though it does nowadays. It's all hiding and lies. If you can cover it up, if you can brush it out of visibility, then you continue. And unfortunately, Bernie Madoff, it starts to grow and it becomes you. You become this lie that you are. Where at the beginning, I was a great stockbroker and I actually placed trades and I made millions of dollars. But for the last 15 years, I never made a trade. I just ran a pyramid scheme. I took your money and I gave it to him because I already owed him money. And then I took his money and I gave some to you because I owed you money. And then this thing got bigger and bigger. And then I took, Steven Spielberg's money and George Lucas's money. And I took everybody's money and I didn't place any trades. I wasn't even a market guru. And I don't know how I got there. No, you know it all, you criminal. And somewhere, you should have said, this is bad. I've crossed the line. I can't do this. I'm hurting me. I'm hurting people. I'm killing people. I'm breaking laws. I am a criminal. I'm a thief. I'm a liar. I'm a cheat. That seems accepted anymore. It's where that your acumen, your business smarts, your sharpness, your edginess blurred into this total criminal. Down here we got Epstein hanging out at Mar-a-Lago with Trump. We knew Trump was a criminal. All his shit in Miss America, his shit in boxing, he's hung around those shadowy scumbags, and he was a shadowy scumbag. Just smart enough where the guy was dangerous and scary, and he took the presidency, and I voted for him. Because that kind of scary with a flavor of stupid is way better than that scary, make you disappear presidential pro-politician that everyone in Washington was becoming. Bill and Hillary Clinton, right? George Bush. These individual, self-made or whatever, created familial billionaires that now were part of the society where they don't really need you at all. We're going to make our protocol and our agenda. We know what's best. You do? Okay. So, I don't know. I watched this Stranger Fruit. I thought it was a good movie. It challenged a lot of my beliefs. It actually got me thinking, because we're polarized. We're polarized by the media, by the shit we see on our phones, by the stuff we hear on the news, by the shit we hear everywhere. Some places still provide what they think is correct information, but it's very hard to deliver it, and it comes out challenging, and it comes out wrong, and it comes out polar opposite, or it comes out where it's just the opposing view. And as opposed to fact and information, it actually incites. You know what I mean? So instead of just listening and thinking, oh, good information, like NPR or public radio or PBS still does a good job. They sort of just present the stuff. The news hour, I used to love, but I think, whatever, the dude's died. There aren't a lot left. You don't just have people that provide information anymore. Everybody needs to benefit. They have to provide their view. They have to provide, some spin, some flavor. It has to be for me. I'm doing this with passion for you. But there's an angle to it. I don't know. So I implore you to watch this Stranger Fruit. You should be able to see it now. And it really does show the injustices. This guy represents the families pretty well. This family was in a suburb of Ferguson, of St. Louis. These kids, these guys, these gals, these families that leave St. Louis, they're getting out for a better life. These are the non-hood suburbs. And you see a lot of it, man. It's really weird. And we never saw any of that picture. We saw the spin and churn of mass media. We heard the same rhetoric and messages that showed up on little sheets so that handsome men, well done up women, pretty women, with their hair blown out, with their tight shirts, with their nice business suits, with a ton of makeup, just shared the same shit to you instead of real, relevant, factual news. The media, man, they're the enemy of the people. I'm telling you again. Watch Stranger Fruit. Comment, like, subscribe, share. Give me your perspective. It was a good one, and it challenges a lot of my thought, which is unfortunate, because I've grown up. I grew up in interracial areas. A lot of my best friends were black kids, and all my high school was predominantly black. You know what I mean? 30% white, 35% white, a lot of black. So I sit back and I go, how come we don't hear that view? Why do we have to have some stupid, subversive cinematographer make a movie on fact? Why the hell didn't we hear all that? And I bet you we heard pieces of it, but it was so watered down, so strewn out, so off on the peripherals, the angles. This guy put it together and he did a good job. Stranger Fruit, watch it and get a better perspective. We gotta address these issues in this country, and we're not. And Bernie Sanders, I don't know, maybe you can. Dave DY Show coming at you. Thanks for watching this episode. Out.